I do love to play many video games out there, no matter what they look like, how they play, and what era of console that game is under. And I always have such a fascination with bad video games. Not mediocre games, I should clarify, just some of the most horrible and unplayable games out there in existence. And to be honest, I like playing bad video games because they just hit differently. And yes, while any bad video game can be considered as one of the worst games out there due to either poor graphics or rubbish gameplay, you can always have a good old laugh with it. Especially if it's a really glitchy game, kinda like a ranked Call of Duty multiplayer match, or just me walking around aimlessly. And if you're wondering what is the main point I'm trying to get across, here's Power Rangers Time Force for the PlayStation 1. If this is your favorite video game, now's your chance to leave the video. But look, Time Force the video game was another nostalgia game to me, as I was a massive fan of Power Rangers, and watching Time Force was pretty great. It's still good to watch nowadays too. So it's time to see if Time Force was a good game to play through, or if I should have just left it in the past. Get it? The past, because Time Force involves time travel. Nope, screw it, that was a terrible joke anyway. I'll just show myself out. Oh god damn it, I'm glitching again! This game was developed by Climax Studios, which sounds like an 18+ website. They developed games over the years like Ghost Rider, SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge, and even their previous game, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. As we get to the introduction and the main menu, we hear the Time Force theme song, and it's an absolute banger. Unfortunately, I can't play it due to potential copyright issues, but hey, at least I can show you some stock footage of Time Force. Oh come on! The game features 1-player mode and 2-player mode. For now, we'll begin with the single-player mode, and as for the story, it's what you expect from the TV show. Ranzik and his mutants travel to the year 2001, and it's up to the Power Rangers to capture the mutants, beat Ranzik, and save the world. I wish I could explain more about the story, but it's exactly the same from the show. But the story isn't the most important part here. It's something to keep the game rolling forward, and the game covers the Time Force storyline in the span of 2 hours or so. By the way, yeah, Time Force can be completed in around 2 hours. The graphics in this game here are acceptable, passable I suppose. The Rangers themselves look decent, but everything else from the environment, the enemy type, and bosses, they look like absolute garbage, and it's not good looking to look at. And for those about to say, well, it's a PlayStation 1 video game, so of course the game is going to look like that. Well, allow me to present to you some other PlayStation 1 games that look 10 times better than Time Force. Spyro the Dragon, released in 1998, and the game looks stunning with its level designs and bright colours surrounding Spyro. Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back, released in 1997, and you can see how many details there are in one screen with enemy types and dangerous hazards. And then you have Medieval, released in 1998, and while the game looks spooky and dark, it's covered with so much discovery, and you're left wanting to know what could happen next when you progress. Time Force for the PlayStation 1 was released in 2001, way later than any of those games I've mentioned, and yet Time Force does not look good. It can be unfair to compare game developers together, but Climax Studios had the time and resources to produce the game, and I just kinda wish they did a better job at it. The gameplay sees you in 7 levels. You have a small hub world to check out, and you can select a level to partake in. You can select the Time Force Rangers from red, blue, green, yellow, and pink.
Yeah, I got picked!
Each ranger's stats are listed as attack power, defense, speed, and martial skill, even though the stats don't really help out much. And when selecting a ranger, they'll say a one-liner to get themselves pumped up and ready for action. Although, I feel bad for the blue ranger as his line gets cut out halfway.
Oh, right.
In each level, some can be straightforward, while others might ask you to grab some items to open a door or shut off the force fields. But regardless, your main objective is the same, and that is to reach the end of the level, fight a boss, then transform into the Megazord to beat the boss one more time and then capture it. Rinse and repeat 7 times and you beat the game. The level design is fine, while I don't like the look of them, but I like the locations you can visit, like the Wild West, the pirate ship, the medieval days, and the Colosseum to name a few. And it makes total sense to visit these places because, you know, time travel. At this point, you might as well have the Time Force Rangers obtain the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Which reminds me, is Gluto secretly an Azorbeloff? All jokes aside, I do like checking these levels out, and even walking around the levels and listening to the soundtrack at the same time is just crazy good. I'm willing to say that the music here is really underrated and somewhat underappreciated too. I will admit, I don't know why level 1 and level 5 share the same music. So, those were some of the pros about the gameplay, so I hope you Time Force gamer fans like that, because here comes mostly the cons about the game. The combat. It's fucking shit. They all share the same combat attacks, from punches and kicks, and each ranger plays the exact same, so the combat here can get easily repetitive. It would have been cool for each Power Ranger to have a different special attack to stand out. And man, when trying to attack an enemy, sometimes you'll land a shot and other times you won't. And as I'm looking at the TV screen or monitor and performing those moves, I know for a fact that I've landed that strike, but the game doesn't register it whatsoever. And it really sucks for a game when you run around and beat the bad guys up. So in each level, there's a timer on the top of the screen, and you have to try your best to complete the level before the timer runs out. If you successfully do so, you'll earn extra health for your health bar, which is alright. I never knew what would happen if you let the timer run out. Does the game start all over again? Does your console end up getting corrupted? Or will it mean the literal end of the fucking world itself when our planet reaches the sun? Oh god, please no, I want to live! Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me! Actually, what really happens is nothing, really. The timer will go to the negatives and the game will continue on. Yeah! This also has to be pointed out that if you want to increase your health, it's almost like you have to speedrun the level and avoid all the enemies and everything around you. So, you can get to the boss section without even having to touch a single regular enemy, which is weird since you're playing as a Power Ranger and you're supposed to stop all possible threats no matter how big or small. I'll be honest, as a kid, I always thought they said, "I'll bite you" instead. I don't know why, I just thought it was hilarious. You can collect many items in a level, including the hourglasses to stop the countdown briefly, Time Force tokens for an extra life, a heart for regaining your health, and even these special powers like invincibility and speed boosting. And they only last for a short period of time. And there's also these pads that can increase your special attack meter. There's one of these pads that can last for infinity, but then there's these other pads that only last for a short amount of time. I'm gonna be honest, that wasn't in the script at all. I just forgot to write that in, so I thought I'd just mention it before someone else did. And then you have the artifacts. There's one in each level, and if you collect all 7 of them, you'll be able to play as the... Wait, where is he? Did I miss an artifact? Oh, fuck right off. I thought I collected that one. So much for video game completion. As I was saying, once you find all the artifacts, you'll be able to play as Virgil. I mean the Quantum Ranger. Yeah, they're both voiced by Daniel Southworth. He is the best character to play as since his stats are way up. It's a shame that once unlocked, there's nothing else to do in the game, making this unlockable character completely pointless, I'm afraid to say. But at least you can beat enemies down while listening to Bury the Light. Bury the light deep within. Even this song has copyright! When finishing a level, you head over to the training spot to learn some new power-ups, like the ground thump to send shockwaves to opponents, grappling nearby enemies and throwing them, and the tornado spin.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
And I have no issues or problems with those power-ups at all, as it helps to add more gameplay variety. But what I do have a problem with is that if you go back to an earlier level, you can't use any of the new power-ups, only when the level demands it. Say if you unlock the Fireball Blast after level 5, and if you want to go back to level 3, the Fireball Blast will not be available to use, and that really blows in my opinion, as using some of those power-ups could actually help out with finishing the level before the timer runs out. The game offers platforming, and it sucks. It's really bad in general. It can be tough to know where you're landing, and I always don't have much confidence in my jumps. And while the controls are fine, trying to run to platform after platform while jumping can be very frustrating from my point of view, especially with the last level, as there's platforms everywhere you see. I do like to think, however, that maybe the last level is supposed to be designed with patience in mind, kinda like Crash Bandicoot 1. And if you slowly take your time, you'll come to find that...
What can I say except get fucked?
Overall, the gameplay is lackluster, is some of the most unbearable gameplay I've experienced in quite some time, and even completing this game in under 2 hours, including collecting everything in the game, it felt like a massive chore. And while it is satisfying to finally tick that box off your chore list, but one has to question if it was really worth the time. I do have one question I want to point out, and for my sake, it needs to be addressed. Why does every Power Ranger have to say the same line of, "Ow, I gotta be more careful"?
I've gotta be more careful.
Every single time they get hit for a hazard. Wouldn't it make more sense if the Rangers had unique lines to say? The Pink Ranger could say, "That's gotta leave a mark," or the Yellow Ranger can say, "Let's not do that again," or the Quantum Ranger could say,
I need more power.
But I suppose to end things off, let's talk about the bosses themselves, and honestly, why even bother? The bosses are bad, and it's the exact same routine of trying to hit the boss. If you can, that is, until they are finally defeated. Even Ranzig is a terrible final boss as well, as the structure is exactly the same as the rest. And as for the Megazord battles, it's also bad too. It plays just like the regular boss fight, the environment textures here are not nice to look at, and you can spam your kick attack and you'll win easily, no troubles at all. And as for the 2-player mode, yeah, nah, I'm not touching that shit. Power Rangers Time Force for the PlayStation 1 was not a good game to play through, and that's coming from someone who has experienced this game time after time back in the day. I think nowadays if I want to replay this game again, it'll most likely be because of the soundtrack. Seriously, the soundtrack is really great to listen to, and each one fits the level very nicely. But that's the only saving grace about Time Force. The rest, however, just reeks of poop. Graphics are not nice to look at, the gameplay is poor, and the replayability is non-existent here. Like I said earlier, I do like to play bad video games, but sometimes to recommend a video game to someone, I have to take my nostalgia glasses off to understand what worth a video game can offer. And sorry to say, Power Rangers Time Force for the PlayStation 1 offers the same value as a simple square cheese sandwich. Plain and boring. It is simple as that. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm, and keep playing video games.